The meaning of the movie author Orpheus for reading for minutes published 10.01. 2021 updated 10.01. 2021 The South Korean thriller, Memories of Murder, was released in 2003. Viewers were shocked by the fact that this motion picture is based on true stories. A series of terrible crimes, the division of society, poverty and disagreement of local residents with the current way of life in the country. But what meaning did the director put in the ending of the movie, Memories of Murder? In the tape, the real criminal involved in the murders of women was not apprehended. At the time of the film's release on the big screens, the identity of the suspect was also not established. In the final frames of the movie, one of the former law enforcement officers long looks at the camera. He seems to hypnotize the audience. The hero hopes through the camera to find the one who committed terrible crimes. This method can be conditionally called a method of eye contact. But why did the former investigator decide to appeal to ordinary viewers? Is there no more evidence that could lead to the trail of the criminal? The terrible events described in the movie, Memories of Murder, took place in 1986 to 1991. The movie was made in 2003. It is not difficult to calculate that the investigation was conducted for many years. The case was assigned to several law enforcement officers. They carefully examined the evidence, looking for more and more evidence. Some of them even turned for help to fortune tellers. However, the actions of the investigators did not lead to the desired result. The investigation reached a dead end. Operative employees realized that they were missing something. But they never managed to figure out what. Each time, the investigators planned to be one step ahead of the killer. Only the serial killer was always anticipating their actions. The unsub created a special ritual for himself. He didn't just kill the victim. The serial killer carefully selected them from the crowd. The murders took place in the rain and to certain music. On the victim, something of the clothes had to be red in color. Once investigators even managed to get the biological material of the maniac, from which experts were able to isolate DNA. But even this evidence could not advance the investigation of the case. Employees of operational services as if trampled in a circle. Initially, the investigators with special enthusiasm took up the investigation. The case of a serial maniac rattled throughout the country. To catch the criminal, who brought fear and terror to every local resident, became a matter of honor. But days, weeks, months, years passed. The staff involved in the investigation changed. But the killer was never caught. At the end of the movie, the audience sees that many years have passed since the beginning of the investigation. The operative, who was engaged in the search for the killer longer than the others, has already left the ranks of law enforcement agencies. Park has decided to leave the police force. After several years of hard service, the man finally found peace of mind. The character has a family, he began to engage in business. And it seems that nothing else reminds him of the hard days as an operative. But when he passed by a rice field, where one of the victims of a serial killer was found, the character decided to stop. It was as if the intervening years when he left the police force had never happened. The former investigator met a girl who gave him some strange information. The stranger told Park that she saw a man in this rice field who shared a personal memory with her. This story shocked Park. He wanted to find out everything from the girl, to find out all the details. But the heroine didn't tell him anything specific. No distinguishing features or characteristics. It was just an ordinary person. And then Park realized that the killer walks among ordinary people. He doesn't stand out, doesn't draw attention to himself. He couldn't be identified in a crowd. Terrible crimes committed by a human being. Park wanted to look him straight in the eye. As it turned out, the investigation of this terrible case had never left his mind. He had replayed the details, the evidence, the preceding events over and over in his mind. Now, with the help of the method of eye contact, he once again wanted to try to figure out the criminal. The character, after meeting with the girl, suddenly realized clearly that the serial maniac is still at large. If all available methods have already been tried, you should try to come up with something of your own. From the look of the former investigator, some viewers become uncomfortable. Park looks intently, as if into the very soul. He wants to say that you cannot close your eyes to the terrible events. People must unite in the face of common misfortune. Sometimes the help of a single person can be invaluable.